Hey, hey, hey. Good morning. Good
Good
morning,
morning,
ladies.
ladies. Good morning.
How y'all doing today? It's a cold one out today, isn't it?
It is a cold one out there, but yeah, doing good.
Awesome, awesome.
Great. Uh-huh.
Well, we got an amazing topic today. I think it's a vital conversation we need to have today about these working women who's just focused on career, focused on taking care of all the things, but they tend to forget or not focus as much on preparing for the future. So let's
Yeah.
talk about how you can have your cake and you can eat it too. So my name is Brandy Gamble. I help women make smarter money choices. And we've got Rosalind here today.
Hey y'all, Rosalind Marie, your financial wellness and birth coach, making sure that you take care of your family financially, whether they're just being born, coming into the world, and all the way through their lives. Monica.
I am Monica Love, and I help people with their legacy building aspirations. So I'm a real estate broker and a financial coach.
Awesome. All right, so this vital conversation, right? I say it's vital because it really is about a lot of women out there in corporate today, right? Women that have the job that is taking care of the family, whether they have little children or college age children, and some of them even taking care of their parents, right? They are full of responsibilities and somewhat sometimes too busy to do things that we talk about, which is preparing for the future. The vital conversation I want to just bring to the table is how can you have that life, live a quality life, and still prepare for the future. You can do both, right? You can do both. So for some, I used to be the Brenda of our book, right? Design Your Wealth Mindset. In chapter 4, we talk about Miss Brenda, right? She's that corporate woman. I know some of us, Rosalind, Monica, we've lived that corporate life, right? Rosalind more in the public sector, right? But you still go to work, you're trying to take care of those responsibilities. It's hard, wouldn't you say, to really pull it all together? So I'll start just by talking about Brenda, but I want to hear you guys' perspective, right? So Brenda in the book, we talk about her being this woman who really looks like she has it all together. I used to be her, right? The facade was put together. You got the clothes, you got the car, you got the house, right? Everything's put together. Kids are well behaved and all of that, but girl struggling on the inside, okay? Struggling on the inside. But that's how she's portrayed in the book. She has a high paying job, right? She's well established in her career. People love her. But when she goes home, she's dealing with a lot of debt, right? She's taking care of an aging parent. She's got her husband who works the night shift, can't really help, during the day or during the evening, getting the kids together for bed and all that. So she's got the stress of work and also the stress at home that she's dealing with. Tell me about you guys' experience with that, whether you work with people like that in your businesses or if you've even experienced some of that yourselves.
So I have dealt with that even from a personal perspective. I think any career-oriented person deals with that. And it's when you were talking, I was thinking about the mindset that has to be behind having that kind of a facade. I was thinking about how really you got a house, you got a car, you got the look, which means that you have the finances right now to pull it off. But what it takes is being intentional about caring for the future as opposed to just caring for today and having that appearance, right? Because the appearance is what it is that we look to have in order to, because you do have to have a certain image in order to be a part of that corporate world. You really do.
I don't know about all that. You got to have an image, really. I mean, for some people, it's about keeping up with what everybody else is doing. Like, let's keep up with the Joneses, as we used to say.
Yeah.
But do you really? Really?
Yeah. Okay. So for where I was in my career and the organization that I was with, yes, you did have to have a certain image. Not like they were coming to your house, not like they always, although I did have this one instance where I was at an event for the organization and I had just gotten a promotion, right? And we were coming out of the event and the vice president of the marketing department or whatever he was a big wig. He was my boss's boss's boss. That's how big he was. And he comes out with me and gets in my car. So, I was going to say they don't always look at what you're driving, but he literally came out and got my car because we were trying to find out where it was a big space, whatever. Anyways, and so there is a certain image that you do have to have or portray. Right now I'm driving a little rental car, and it's just a little box. And I could just imagine if that's what I was driving at the time, being this leader in the corporation, I would have felt some kind of way about it,
You would have felt some kind of way about it. That's the thing, right? So when you said we got to keep up with the image, I don't think it's keeping up for them. I think we're keeping up for ourselves, trying to like I said, keeping up with the Joneses, right?
Yeah, you're right.
It's about how we feel. Go ahead, Rosin. I'm sorry.
No. What it brought up for me, I'm gonna tap back into mindset, right? Y'all know I always talk about, everything starts with the mindset, what Monica mentioned. But guess what? We have been given a formula, right? Many of us have been taught to go to school, right? Get a good job, get that degree, get married, buy that home, right? And a lot of times it's in a specific order where we've been given this set of instructions that is supposed to actually set us up for success. But how many of y'all know sometimes it just don't work out like that, right? It doesn't always work out like that. And each person really needs to take an individualized approach to that success, right? We talk about, in your book, we talk about you can have your cake and eat it too. It sounds like a myth, but if you put the right plans in place, and if you connect with the right people, the exit strategy, who we are, you really can have your cake and eat it too. And you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to think through that process alone. And guess what? What I also understand is a lot of wealthy people, they don't look wealthy like what we think.
Okay.
Oh my God.
They're not wearing it. You know what I mean? They're not wearing the things. You know what I mean?
The millionaire next door, right? You would never know. You would never know some people, right? And it's about using the resources that we spend. We already spend the resources. Like I think Monica said, you already got it. Right? You're already able to live the life today and in the future, but how are you spending those resources today? So that's really what we get into in chapter 4 about making smarter money choices. If you just think about the excess. Now, Monica, I don't know what kind of car you were referring to needing to have when that guy got in your car or whatever, but is it about having a Cadillac or having a nice Nissan? That's
as long as it's clean, right?
As long as it's clean, it looks good, right? Come on now. I mean, for real, right?
Yeah.
All right. If you just took that extra $200 to $300 that it costs to get the Cadillac versus the Nissan and put that somewhere working for you for the next 10, 20 years, how would that work? How can you use that extra? Think about the house. Do you really need an 8,000 square foot house? Do you really need a 5,000 square foot house when it's only 3 of y'all? Like, come on, What about that extra $1,000 a month to pay for that mortgage, right?
Right.
That it would have cost. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. And I'm not talking about, some of us, I'd say having a home, and Monica will speak to that. Having a home is important. Yeah. Having a mortgage could be the right way to go. Now, if you can buy the house outright, go for it, right? But having property is important. But it's about how much you're spending. Look, I don't think I talk about this in a book, but I want to say, your home expenses and more so your rent or your mortgage should only be about a quarter of what your income is. 25% of what your income is. If it's 50%, then you are way overspending for your living. For your living space, right? So just keep that in mind. If you've got a mortgage that's $2,500 and that's more than a quarter of what your income is, then you might need to downgrade a little bit and put that extra somewhere else. Now, I like the conversation about, are we looking good for others? Are we looking good for ourselves and how it makes us feel? I think in the African American community specifically, I think other communities kind of deal with this, but we try to keep up with the Joneses. We want to we're doing it for ourselves, but we also want to look the part, right? We want to look the part, but is looking the part helping us to get ahead? So that's really what we're diving into. We're talking about, like Rosalind talked about last week, about understanding why we make the choices we make, right? We make some of the choices we make because we were taught to do so. And that came from generations, right, of passed down, needing to keep up and look the part. But once you understand that, I think it really is important to start diving in deep on how can you start using that money, that excess, to really work for you. Now, we can go into a little detail. It could be about making a better life insurance choice. Maybe you have a term life that eventually will expire, and it could be smart to upgrade and build up a cash value inside of a life insurance, right? It could be about, instead of, putting money in the bank, making sure that money is really working for you in an investment, right? Or even a high yield savings, right? That just getting a slightly higher interest rate, right? Could be a smarter money choice. It's all about taking what you're already spending and getting it to work better for you, making those smarter money choices.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have anything to add.
I do. You mentioned having your mortgage or rent only be a quarter of what you're currently earning. And some people are out there saying, well, shoot, I'm paying way more than a quarter of what I'm earning every month in order to live in my house, but I can't move right now, right? Because in order to downgrade. So here's what I would say to that, just as a possible suggestion. Earn additional income so that you can get your balance in order. Because sometimes that additional income will allow us to put money away because maybe we are paying too much. It's called house poor. Maybe we are house poor, Maybe we are paying too much for that mortgage, or paying more for the mortgage than we should based on our current income. Right? Because everything is relative. How much is too much for a mortgage? Well, it's all relative. So if you are paying more than a quarter, then earn some additional income. We can help you with that. We can help show you how to earn some additional income so that you can have some money to put aside for the future. What we were talking about today is being successful in your career. But what does the future look like because of becoming, here's my word again, y'all, intentional about everything that you do. Brandy said I think it was, I don't know if it was on one of these recordings, but one time we were having a conversation and she said, have an assignment for every dollar.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, for real?
Yeah.
It makes a world of sense, because then when you...
Sometimes it's actually asset rich and cash poor, right? We got the assets, we got the house, we got the land, but we're just cash poor. Sorry, Monica, you broke up. So I was filling in the gap for you.
Right. I'm sorry. That's okay. All I said was that just become intentional about assigning those dollars. Every dollar, have an assignment, and it will help you to have a better future.
That's for sure. And it helps you rest better, right? Right. You want to, we talk about having a financial peace of mind, right? In our book, we cover, sometimes you're coming from a specific background and maybe you're not familiar, as Brandy mentioned, with making sure that your money has an assignment, making sure that you put your money in other places besides a bank account. I also heard something the other day and it was like, oh, okay. When you put your money in a bank, you're not just putting your money, you think you're just depositing or whatever, it's direct deposit coming from your job or your business is going right into your bank. And you think it's just sitting there. Oh, baby, it's not just sitting there. The bank is actually borrowing your money to make more money.
Oh, yeah.
So why not you make more money with your money?
Exactly. Yeah. I love that. We also give a spending plan in the book, right? And an opportunity for you to start assigning those dollars to every, you're giving those dollars an assignment, I should say. So making sure those dollars are going where they should be going. But we talk about paying yourself first. I don't think Brenda was paying herself first. She might have been putting some away in the 401k, which most of us do, right, in corporate, but was she putting enough away? Was she paying herself to ensure she had that the right lifestyle in retirement, I think, is where the gap was for her when it came to that. You know, make sure that you are paying yourself first, you're assigning your dollars, and you're making smarter money choices with every dollar you spend. So
Yeah.
with that, go ahead, Monica. I'm sorry.
I just want to say, because you mentioned that perhaps dollars are going into the 401k, and is there enough going in there? I want to say this, because we have to be strategic and we have to be conscious. Everything that we put into that 401k, remember, taxes still have to come off of that unless it's a Roth. So you want to make sure that you are strategic with where you put your money for retirement, because you don't want to end up paying a huge chunk of it in taxes, where you could have been more strategic and taken advantage of some strategies and some plans that are out here that could allow you to pay taxes in advance instead of on arrears. And how many of you think that taxes are going to increase? I don't know, but I do. That's just my personal opinion, but
most experts too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we tell it all in the book.
Yeah.
We tell it all. So go get it so you can learn. Go ahead, Rosalind.
Can you bring that book up,
Yeah,
Brandon?
absolutely.
Sure
Let me
people so they can get a visual of what it looks like.
Exactly.
And also letting you all know that we have a couple different ways for you to access it. You can access it today, right? You can access it today by downloading. We have a PDF downloadable copy of the book, so you can take it home if you're one of those people you're ready to dive in and ready to design your wealth mindset today. Or we also are Amazon bestsellers if you're somebody that needs that tangible book in your hand. I know I love having the book in my hand, but I like the downloadables well. You know what I mean? If you got a book in your hand, you can actually highlight it and, go through it and write some notes and begin to put your plan in action. But I also want to let you all know that we're just not talking the talk, right? We literally walk the walk, and you can connect with Design Your Wealth. You can connect with us, the exit strategy rather, to be able to schedule some time so that you can put those plans in place, right? You can put that plan in place so you can have your cake and eat it too. I know sometimes you watch people that are speaking on YouTube and those and they're just kind of speaking, and but we want to let you know that we are the professionals to help you get your financial peace of mind and put those strategies in place. As Brandy mentioned, making sure that you have access to the best high yield savings accounts, making sure that those retirement accounts are set up properly, life insurance accounts are set up properly. Some people have life insurance, they don't even know what they have. So make sure that you connect with us so that we can help you get connected with one of us so that we can help you strategize how to put yourself in a better position financially.
Yeah. And we also have a workbook. Let me bring that up if I can.
Yes.
A workbook. This is to help you start to put those things in place by yourself. Before you call us, go ahead and work through the workbook, but then make sure you set up that appointment, because guiding yourself sometimes is not the right guidance. You want to make sure you got somebody who's licensed and trained to help you through making those different choices. Okay. Design Your Wealth Mindset, your GPS workbook, can also be found on Amazon. So definitely go out and get that. So you got a hard copy. You can make some changes, make some notes, write your I was going to say dissertation, but your reflections, write your reflections about what you're doing with your money. Awesome sauce, ladies. Well, that's been amazing. Thank you all for the conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.
Design Your Wealth Mindset, y'all.